Welcome to Phoenix Unleashed, Episode 6. I am Shipper Hendry, and I am your host. Today, we're going to be talking about a new morphic field, what a morphic field is, and connecting to the new field of miracles, which is available and coming into our world right now. If you just came from my Soulfire training, then you probably are right in this place right now. And if you did not, I invite you to sign up for that training. It's completely free. You can attend live or by replay. You can sign up at the URL that's scrolling underneath this video, gateofunity.com/soulfire. The first 3 days were amazing. The people on the training are amazing. The level of sharing is amazing. It's all available by replay as well as live. We have tomorrow is our Q&A and coaching marathon hot seat coaching session, and Thursday we're going to be talking about metastability and what it takes to be sovereign and navigate powerfully through these times. And if you haven't been part of it yet, I really invite you. You might want to. Okay, so I want to go back to our history. A long time ago, we were all, as the Torah says, every person who is alive now was like a cell in the cosmic body of the first man, or man and woman, Adam and Eve. Man was created in the beginning as male and female, so Adam and Eve was really one, the first man, part of which is male and part of which is female. In case you're wondering about gender identity, we all have those qualities within us. Anyway, so Adam and Eve, you, I, everybody, mankind was created in a world of bliss. We were put in a garden that was magnificent, that in which we could communicate with the Creator without any barriers at all. And in that garden, food was readily available for us. Everything that we needed was readily available for us with no barriers in any way. We were together with our soulmate, Adam and Eve, were together, the ideal, beautiful humans, not in bodies like the ones that we have, but in bodies that were fully able, were transparent, that were made of light, that could experience pleasure much more than we can now. Believe it or not, the physical body as it is very limited in the way that it can experience pleasure. Our destiny, our next level of human being 2.0 is going to be able to experience pleasure in a much more intense way in all aspects. That's part of the prophecy and the destiny of redemption that we're moving into. But the spiritual, one of the prophecies actually is that in the time of the redemption, kol madanim ka'afartiyu, all delicacies will be like dust, meaning that there will be incredible abundance in the new field, and also that the kind of things that we reveled in will feel even more intensely, we'll enjoy even more, but compared to the things that we have access to, that spiritual light, that intimate connection, that passionate self and other discovery, that relationship with the Creator that will be blissful love and union, the secrets of reality, all of that will be so much more intensely pleasurable that the things that give us so much pleasure will be like, okay, later, like dust, like I'm busy. I'll get to that when I have time. So that's an amazing world that we can't even really imagine. It's super hard to really even imagine, but we want to understand that that's where we're going. And that is connected to the new field that is being built and developed now. That new field is our future, our destiny, broadcasting out to us. Come to me, align with me, learn about me, see what I'm about. And all of the fear and all of the turbulence, all of the shaking up, all of the everything, all of the challenges that we're experiencing are designed to uproot us from the past, from the old, and connect us, give us the opportunity to connect to the new. So in the Garden of Eden, there was this blissful space. And when Adam and Eve ate from the tree of knowledge, they internalized the voice of the snake and the energies of the snake, and evil and darkness became part of the human condition. And in a way that it was kind of difficult to distinguish. One of the features of the eating from the tree of knowledge is that good and evil got confused, mixed up together, to the point where there's never anything evil without a little bit of good. Like they say, if you want to tell a big lie, you have to add a little truth. That's happening. And no good without a little bit of evil, meaning there's some self-centeredness in everything that we're doing. Or in any case, the quality, the core quality that exists now as we are reaching the end of that phase of concealment and confusion. We are still living out the consequences of that eating from the tree of knowledge. But the eating was with an underlying agenda of, as the snake said to Eve, and he wasn't kidding, if you eat from this tree, you'll be like God. Okay, it sounds so arrogant and off. And yes, it was a fall, but it was real. We are going to experience where we're moving to and the new field that we want to connect to. I'll talk a little bit more about morphic fields in case not everybody was in the training or you haven't heard it talked about before. Where we're going to is that we will not only experience divine light and presence from the outside, which is hard enough to do even now, right? We will experience it from the inside as well. A core principle, perhaps the core principle that Kabbalah describes in describing creation is Ein Od Milvado. There isn't anything here but one. There's only one. There's only one. What is that one? It's the creator. It's the source. It's the energy and the beingness and the light and the frequency and the presence that is hidden within everything, like a hand in a sock puppet. I did not plan this, but I happen to have a sock puppet right here. Hi. So what is happening with this sock puppet? My hand's in it, and that's why it can wave and nod its head and bounce around. That's not the puppet actually doing that. That's my hand. But the very hand that is inside the puppet is being hidden by the puppet. This is an exact analogy to what is happening in our world, in every single thing that exists in the world, you and me and the picture behind me and the computer that I'm talking on and the clouds up above and everything. The circumstances and events that happen, space and time itself is the hidden hand, is God hiding inside that puppet. So the moon is a puppet. Your body's a puppet. This drink is a puppet. Everything is a puppet. Global events are a puppet. They don't move on their own. That's what I want you to know. Everything, literally, in this field of reality is only God. But as God creates it, it conceals him. That's the old field. That's a morphic field. A field of reality, a dimension of reality that is interactive, that builds as more people connect to it, that creates an attractor field for more people, and that has its own discrete laws of cause and effect. So the laws of nature, as we experience them, come from and correspond with the field of reality that is the hand of God in the puppet. I have another one here. It's a girl. Hello. So God is hidden, and some things look more like God to us than other things. Like war doesn't look like God. That's why people always say, God doesn't do it, we do it. But if there's only one, who are we? And what is war? And who's doing anything? Could boggle the mind, but we need to think about these things because we need to connect to a new field. So the field where God is concealed, the hand is concealed in the puppet, that's a field where the laws of nature apply, where everybody has to die. The only things that are certain are death and taxes, like that. Or where what you like, as you get older, you get less empowered, you have less potential. Or if you're born into a wealthy family, you know how to make money, and if you're born into a poor family or you live with scarcity, you don't. Or if you failed in the past, that means you have to fail in the future. Or in general, the past equals the future. Or if you're in the elite, then you have access to this, and if you're someone else, you don't. Or if a doctor tells you something that you don't like, God forbid, God forbid, God forbid, whatever he says is the truth. No, that's the old field. There are certain laws of nature that we have learned through many generations and many incarnations to assume are true, the truth. But actually, all they are is God hiding. God hides in interesting ways. When he hides, something shows up that looks like it exists on its own. That is a complete feature of this morphic field. The Kabbalistic name for it is Mamale Kol Almin. How would you spell that? Mamaleh, Mamale Kol, K-O-L, Almin, A-L-M-I-N. It means the light that fills all worlds, meaning God's light is filling, like my hand is filling this puppet, God's light is filling everything. And everything in a puppet show, as on the puppet stage, looks like it's hopping around by itself. When the two puppets are fighting, it looks like there are two of them that are fighting each other, right? But really, it's one puppeteer, even though there are two hands there. They belong to one puppeteer. So in the new field, in the old field, we live with that. In the old field, that is our experience and we believe in it. And here's the deal about morphic fields. Like I said before, they're a dimension of reality that carry their own laws of cause and effect. It really matters what field you're connected to. If I saw this when I worked as a host, a telesummit host for many years. I had a show, Quantum Healing Consciousness and Soul, and the Global Awakening Summit. And I interviewed many healers, and I saw that each healer had a certain predictable result. If you did their protocols, you would get predictably, if you were trained well and whatever, you get those results, and other results you wouldn't get. And another healer who was, using their mind or using the energy in their hands or whatever, would get a completely different result. Like healer A could do joint issues and couldn't do, autoimmune. Healer B could do autoimmune or emotions and couldn't do physical, or whatever it might be. And I asked myself the question as the host, why is this one, basically all healing it's more or less comes from the same thing. You step out of the form, the way things show up, you step out of the world of puppets, and you step into the world of being and intention and prayer. And I'm not here to teach energy healing today, but I know that they all have more or less the same things. They call upon the same features. They call upon the same energies and source. They have the same basic ideas, same basic protocols, but yet, depending on what they did, they would get completely different results. And I asked myself, why is that? And the answer that I came to was they're connected to different morphic fields. The field that you connect to generates the results that you will get when you take action. The field that you're connected to will tell you what's possible and what is not possible. So if you don't like the field that you're connected to, which tells you that the world is cracking down and it's going to be harder and harder to live in, and everybody has to be afraid all the time, and or that you're helpless, or that you're a victim, or that you have no choice, or that things are going to go from bad to whatever, God forbid, you're connected to that field. And here's the other thing about morphic fields: as you connect to a field, everybody who connects to the field makes it stronger. It's interactive. So when something is innovated for the first time, it doesn't have such a big attractor effect. When one person is doing it, good for that one person. When 20 people experienced it, now it starts to have a vibration of its own, and it attracts more people, and they make it stronger, and the results become more predictable. So the more people connect to a certain field, and fields are very much defined by beliefs and the emotions, thoughts, and actions that they generate. Beliefs, the emotions, thoughts, and actions that they generate. So when we are connected to the old field, the field of the past, the field of victim, the field of helplessness, the field of fear, the field of everything's separate, I'm on my own, you're separate from me, I don't see anything, deeper, we're just helpless, that you are stuck to that field and you will get the results. That field has its own laws, and those are the laws of nature. And that's the way it's going to be. But there's an option now, and even deeper than an option. The mystical Torah explains that the reason for the things that we're going through right now, the reason for the increased pressures and the increased challenges and the increased sense of helplessness that is so easy to feel, this is designed to get us to a place where we give up on the system. There's nothing I can do. I have no power here. But it's not supposed to stay like that. There's the next instant after I have no power here is I can connect to something that has all power. I can look beyond and connect to the hands. And not only the hands, but the hands are connected to arms, and the arms are connected to the body and to the brain. And the brain is connected to the energy field in the soul. And in that way, we are all connected to the source. We just have to be conscious of it, because consciousness equals choice. Consciousness creates new beliefs. Beliefs connect you to a field, and the field is real. And the field has its own laws of cause and effect. So how do we connect to a new morphic field? And what is that new morphic field? We need to challenge our beliefs. First of all, we need to want to. We need to I don't want to say believe that it's possible, because you can't really believe something in an integrated way that you haven't experienced when evidence tells you the opposite. But what you can do is allow for it. So you can allow for the belief that something else is possible. And then you need to learn about the new morphic field. What is it? It's God's field, it's destiny field, it's redemption field, it's coming in, all of the turbulence and all of the innovation, cyber technology, quantum communications, energy healing, increased spirituality, inner knowing and intuition. I keep asking people, do you have any powers that you didn't used to have that came online? And I'd love you to comment, whether you're on YouTube or Facebook, live or replay. Comment. Do you feel that you have intuition or any kind of power, no inner knowing, or the ability to see energy or work with energy, or anything that you didn't used to have? Or do you connect with people who do that you didn't used to? I'd like to see you comment, because when you comment, you're here. And when you're here, you're connecting to a new field. You can't be a passive recipient and do that. It doesn't work like that. So when you see things changing, shaking up of the old, the revelation of what's happening under the surface that is truly unpleasant, that was hidden in the snake energy, by the snake energy after the fall in the Garden of Eden. Good and evil got mixed up together, like I said, till it became, the order of the day was confusion and a spirit, kind of spiritual blindness. You can't see. Like, we're so divided, somebody's making a big mistake. So some things are hidden unless people learn how to see. The more we learn, the more we expand, the more we connect to the mystical Torah, the blueprint for creation, the more we challenge our beliefs, the more we learn about what's happening to us, the more we align with it, et cetera, bond with other people who are aligning with it, the more we will know how to see. So we will have different beliefs. We'll try new things. We'll have different experiences, and that will connect us to the new morphic field. You have to know it's there. At least allow for that it's there. Then you have to know what it looks like, what's it made of. Then you have to do things to connect to it and to disconnect from the old. You want to be part of the collective? Do you want to be subject to a field of massive fear that keeps being thrown at you? Or do you want to get back your sovereignty, like we talked about in last week's show? Do you want to get back your sovereignty? Activate your sovereignty. Connect to your own bedrock and to your source and to your purpose. If you are not in the Soul Fire training, I strongly encourage you to go right now and sign up. The replays are up for the first 2 days, going up for the second, for today soon, and they'll be up through Sunday. And it's going to give you a lot of hands-on tools and experiences. You will learn a lot, and you will be there with your soul tribe, which is really cool all by itself, and connecting to the new morphic field. So if you haven't done that, go there right now, gateofunity.com/soulfire, and sign up for that and engage. As I keep telling people, there are 3 things that it takes to make a change. Want to make a change? Not do you feel like you can make a change? That's not the question. The answer is probably no. Because if there's something you really want and you feel like you can change it, you probably would have done it already. So we all want to make changes and we feel like we can't. We believe that we can't. Old morphic field, right? I'm not the type of person who can, I tried and I failed. I can't. I don't have the resources. I don't know how. I feel afraid. I feel uncomfortable. Okay, those are all conditions that keep you attached to the old morphic field, the morphic field of exile, gullus. But in the new field, new things are possible. And when you get new experiences, as we're doing in the training, you start to see that new things are possible. And you start to feel that new things are possible. And your brain starts to get the sense that those new things, maybe they are possible. And you know that they say that this is why visualization, when you do it properly, really, really works, can change your life all by itself if you do it properly and consistently, because your subconscious mind, when you visualize and experience it, wires it in as reality. And your subconscious mind is like a generator, sending out a frequency that then is drawn back into you. So when you connect to a new morphic field and other people that are connecting to it, you are subjecting yourself, or liberating yourself in this case, into different laws of cause and effect. So what's possible in the new morphic field of redemption? God loves you and he shows it. He's got your back. People get you and they appreciate you and they want to help you. They see your potential and they want it to get out there. They care. In a new morphic field, prayer, real conscious prayer, can generate miracles, and it often does. In the new morphic field, you feel peaceful when other people are freaking out. Maybe not every minute. In the new morphic field, you know how to get yourself back to that peace in a deeper way than before it got disrupted. You become a master of transformation. In a new morphic field, you feel empowered. You feel like a partner in creation, not like a victim of circumstances. What's that worth? And what's that worth to the world? What if we just stepped up as co-creators? In the new morphic field, you have the power not to be part of that collective. Whatever gets thrown out, I'm busy. I'm sovereign. I'm going swimming. I have a book to write. I have, a person to connect to over a glass of tea or a glass of wine. I have a class to teach. Whatever it is, in the new morphic field, you are the generator. And you don't do it alone. In the new morphic field, in the old morphic field, we all feel like we're alone, right? That's the nature of the beast. That's the name of the game. That's the grand illusion that God created by hiding in Mamalikal Almin. It's all on behalf of the purpose. It's all on purpose. This puppet right now, you don't see its source. You don't see what it's connected to. That's like all of us. We don't see our source. We don't see what we're connected to. If this puppet had consciousness, she would be thinking, I'm all alone. Nobody gets me. My life is random. What's happening to me? Part of the work in the new morphic field and part of the opportunity is to see deeper. What's really going on? What am I really made of? Wait, I've got divinity inside my being. What does that mean for me? How do I activate that? Like that. So the training will help you connect, as all of the work that I do with people in the Gate of Unity will help you connect to that new morphic field. So take advantage if that's something that you want. And meanwhile, just know that it's an option. You have a choice. One of the things that's happened in these times that's so disruptive and so painful and so cruel, really, is that people have been trained to think that they have no choice. So, and it's not coming out of nowhere. Like many institutions and powers that be are conspiring and are actively working their very best to make sure that you feel like you have no choice. But it's not actually true. In most cases, in almost all cases, it's not true. When you believe it, you will make it real. When you believe it, you will comply, and then other people comply because they see that everyone's complying and there's no choice. And therefore, it becomes like a no-brainer, and it just becomes like all beliefs that we adopt and we act upon. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy, and it's the truth. But if you look deeper, and that is the name of the game. Want to connect to a new morphic field? The first thing is look deeper. Challenge those beliefs that connect you to the old field. Look deeper. You can look deeper through the mystical Torah. You can look deeper through the training. You can look deeper through choosing new sources of information wherever you might find them. You can look deeper by challenging the stories and the narratives that you're told. You can look deeper by refusing. Last week we talked about saying no. Say no to no choice. Say no. And even if you cannot see a way out, whether it's, from the powers that be, or whether it's your own, inner sense of what's happening to you, say no. Say no. Here's the deal. And I'll end with this, I think. When you're in a situation where you feel like you're trapped, I used to do a program that I call Turning Walls into Doorways, and I still do trainings by that name. Because when you're up against a wall, what's that feeling like? That's a feeling that so many people have right now. I'm up against a wall. There's nowhere to go. I have no choice. I see no way out. But imagine that on the other side of that wall is a whole new room. You don't have access to that room now. You don't see what's in that room. You don't see the potential. You don't see the powers. That room represents a new field, even. When you're up against a wall, you have the opportunity, and God wants to help you, because we're meant to get out of this prison. This prison is clamping down on us because we're supposed to break out. The prophecies are full of this. The analogies, like the chicken busting through the egg, or the womb becoming too small for the baby, or the cocoon becoming too small for the caterpillar. These are analogies, mashalim in Hebrew, that God put into the world so we understand how it works. Gets too small, you're up against the wall, you are meant to break through. That's the thing. You're meant to break through. So even if you feel, because you're still connected to the old morphic field and you're in the past and you're confused and uncertain, so you might feel, I don't see a door and I don't know how to break through, and it's not possible. The part we want to change, the part we can change, is say no to not possible. Say yes to, there is a way, I just don't know that way yet. Then what do? How do you find that way? A, connect to people that do have something to tell you about how to do that. That's pretty simple. So connect to mentors, classes, information, videos, frequencies. Sometimes you can shift just by getting up and dancing. Like if you've ever been in a super morose mood where you can hardly talk and you feel like I'm in prison, I can't get out of it. I can't, and you feel like you're contracting more and more and more. I know it's happened to me way more than once. So sometimes you just have to make that one little move. Go for a 1 minute walk, a 30-second walk, or turn on that video and get up and move your feet for a few minutes, or meditate, or write a letter to God, expressing all your feelings, or to someone else, expressing all your feelings, send it or don't, use your discretion. But sometimes it's as simple as that. And sometimes it's a longer process because we're going from finite to infinite, and this field is very strong. It's an attractor field. Think magnet that pulls in the iron filings, magnetizes them, and then becomes stronger because now it's a bigger magnet, pulls in more. So it takes some effort to get out of that, but just know that the other field, the field of the future, where divinity is revealed and where God is your partner, where miracles are possible and prevalent, that takes not as much as you think, because God is there holding up the field, and that's God's vision. It's a pretty strong attractor field. So you need to learn about it. You need to connect with people who know, who can help you. You need to learn what God's vision is. You need to learn that. That's in the blueprint for creation, you guys. That's in the Torah. That's nowhere else. Because the Torah is God's vision. It's the blueprint for creation, God's wisdom and will. And it talks all about these times. And it gives a transmission of power. When you learn the mystical Torah in depth, it gives a transmission, literal transmission of divine power to break through. So connecting to the right mentors, connecting to your soul tribe, who want what you want, who see what you see, who get you, and who care, like we said at the beginning. Connecting to a different frequency, different vibration. That's the movement. That's get out in nature. That's move your body. That's, whatever it takes. Learning the mystical Torah, find out what's going on here so that you can visualize, so that you can see. When we don't believe that something is possible, we don't see it. Literally, we don't see it. Do you know anybody in your world who's not seeing what you see? I know that the answer is yes. And I know that you're wondering, how the heck can they not see that? It's so obvious. Well, that's because when we're limited by our beliefs, connecting us to the old field, we literally do not see what's in front of our face. Every one of us is not seeing what's in front of our face. Our own possibility, our own potential, the door inside that wall that will take you into a new world of wonder, okay, of influence. We don't see it. So if we don't see it, we need to learn about it so we know what it looks like, so we can be on the lookout for it. And as we look at it, we learn about it, we see it in our mind's eye, and that's already seeing. And then the eyes and the brain, by the way, are super connected in all kinds of ways. So when we see it with our mind's eye, we start to see it with our eyes, and we start to see it in the world. And as we see it, we see God's hand. We don't see the puppet. We see the hand hidden inside the puppet, and it's not so hidden anymore. And then we see the person, the being whose hands they are. And that's a being that we can have a personal relationship with, like a loving partnership with. And that's why your soul is here right now. Your soul came down literally and again and again and again, because Kabbalah explains that the world wasn't created once and static. It's constantly going back to source and being brought into being again. And so is your soul. And so every moment your soul is in partnership and in relationship with God. But the field that you're connected to, about what that looks like, and the traumas that you've had based on that and whatever, are sticking you to the past. You've got to get liberated. You've got to get out of this prison. We all do. Nobody can do it alone. We can absolutely do it together. And as I said, the Creator himself itself is holding that field. That's the divine vision, wants us to see it so that we can connect to it. Wants us to believe it, allow for it. I'll keep saying that, because you can't fully believe something, but you can believe that you can try believing in it. You can allow for it. That's all you have to do. You have to want it and allow for it, show up and engage. So there are many other ways to do this. There are many tools and techniques and so forth that I teach and others teach. But the end thing, the target, the final thing is you. Are you going to be a puppet? Are you going to be a puppet in prison? Are you going to stay stuck to the field of limitation, of snake energy, of pain, of helplessness, of victim? Or are you going to say no to that using your sovereignty and then make new connections to those people, mentors, frequencies, information, soul tribe, divine vision. These are all totally doable things right here for you that will allow you to move to a new field and generate a completely new result. And when you generate a new result, then you really believe in it. Then it goes from allowing to believing. It starts with allowing. So that's your phoenix getting unleashed, you guys. Want to be old and stagnant, diminish, constrict, give up, helpless, destiny unfulfilled? Are you going to say no to that? When do we say no to things? Usually when we're all, used up. I just can't anymore. But you can say that like, I just can't anymore, curl up in a ball and do nothing. Or you can say, no, I'm not anymore. Okay, God, now you have to help me. I get to say no, and then I get the guidance, and then I get to step up and take the guidance and the support. That's a choice that every human being has. It's a choice that probably every human being has to make and is already sort of making. But for most of us, it's not too late to make a new choice. For some, for now it is. Everybody will come back. But so I invite you to make a new choice. I invite you to the Soul Fire Training, gateofunity.com/soulfire. I invite you to wake yourself up, light yourself up, burn down all the old, and connect to the new, whatever that means to you. And we'll leave it at that. If you appreciate this, please like the video, share, comment, and feel free to make requests or ask questions too. Okay, take care, everybody. Bye-bye.